Hello, and welcome to another edition of Cavs Daily, your one stop shop for everything Cavs related. I'm your host, Paul Williams, the authority of Cleveland Cavalier basketball. And today we're going to get into a little bit of everything, I feel like, when it comes to Cavs basketball and the NBA in general. Before we do that, if you could please sub, like, comment, I would really appreciate it, trying to build this thing up and bring as many Cavs enthusiasts along with me as I can. So, yeah, if you can, hit that button and let's get right to it. The first topic of today, there was a recent Reddit poll where thousands among thousands of NBA fans voted on the top 100 players currently going into the 25-26 season. I talked about it a little bit yesterday. Well, I teased it, I guess. And yeah, first off, it's Reddit, so we have to take it with a grain of salt, obviously. After you hear some of the rankings, you might pour even more salt onto that because, yeah, I don't know what they were thinking in some cases. But the Cavs did have a good amount of players make the top 100 list. They finished with 5 guys in that list. Could you guess the guys that would be in? I'm guessing you can. We had Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and DeAndre Hunter. Obviously, that's pretty respectable to have 5 of the top 100 guys in the NBA, but their placements might not be as respectable. I'm going to complain a decent amount about these rankings, so bear with me. Hopefully, you agree. If not, let me know where I'm wrong. First off, Donovan Mitchell at 14. 14. I think, especially after last season, Donovan showed he's at worst a top 10 player. I mean, he made all NBA first team. Come on, what are we doing? That's the 5 best players in the league for the most recent NBA season we just had. So 14 definitely had me scratching my head. Some of the guys ahead of him were just downright disrespectful. I mean, then there's guys like LeBron who, yeah, legacy-wise, he's, of course, way ahead of Donovan Mitchell. But at this very moment, I'm not taking LeBron over Donovan. I wouldn't trade Donovan Mitchell for LeBron straight up. Wemby came in at 9. He's a interesting case. He needs to stay on the court. He's shown flashes, but I don't think he's put enough together yet to be a top 10 player in the league. He definitely has that potential, but I think that's a little ahead of schedule for him at the moment. Kawhi came in at 11. Come on, man. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's a great player, most likely a Hall of Famer, but I'm not taking him over Donovan Mitchell right now. And the one that really just blew my mind and I found very disrespectful, and I guess fans could be prisoners of the moment, or maybe it's because he was a popular name on TikTok and things of that nature, but Tyrese Halliburton at 11. Tyrese Halliburton at 11, spots ahead of Donovan Mitchell. Come on, man. I don't even know what I need to say to argue that, but I would hope that most people would agree that is just an outlandish ranking for Tyrese Halliburton. He is not better than Donovan Mitchell or Jalen Brunson or even Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown. A lot of the guys ahead of or behind him, I would definitely take ahead of him. So, yeah, I'm not appreciating where Donovan's at. Evan Mobley at 28. Again, man, he was all NBA second team last year, all defensive player of the year, or all defensive first team and defensive player of the year. There's no way Tyrese Halliburton is 17 spots ahead of Evan Mobley, or that Pascal Siakam is 7 spots ahead of Evan Mobley, or even Ja Morant is ahead of Evan Mobley. I'm sorry, he's not that. Kyrie and Jimmy Butler, maybe 5 years ago, but let's get real. This is 2025. Banchero, we talked about that yesterday, how I feel about the comparison. Carl Anthony Towns, no thank you. Evan Mobley should definitely be at worst, I'd say 17, 16, but my rankings would have him closer to the 12, 13 range. And then you got to go all the way down to 43 to get to Darius Garland. And again, the disrespect is crazy. No, Darius Garland is not the 43rd best player in the league. He's not outside of the top 40 current players in the NBA, especially if we're not going to penalize other guys for being injured at the moment or having some injuries pop up. What's the explanation for that? I'm sorry, but Darius Garland isn't a spot behind Rudy Gobert or Franz Wagner or Derek White, Aaron Gordon. Come on, man. What are we doing, guys? I would take Darius over Ja Morant. That maybe I'm crazy for that, but that's me personally. Even Jamal Murray. Darius Garland should be top 30, top 32 at worst. At 55, we have Jared Allen. That one I won't argue as much, but again, I do think he should be in the top 50. I'd have him actually closer to where Darius is at in the mid 40s. Some of the guys around him, I again don't agree with, like Zubac from the Clippers or Miles Turner. Give me Jared Allen. So he's, I think, unfairly ranked as well. And to round out the Cavs in the top 5, we have DeAndre Hunter all the way down at 96. And once again, cap. Josh Hart, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Aaron Naismith, Herb Jones. I'm not taking any of those guys over DeAndre Hunter. Maybe because the Cavs are so deep and have so many options, he isn't going to get the chance to shine as much as some of these other guys. But you're drunk if you think that DeAndre Hunter is barely a top 100 player and the guys I just named are better than him. I can guarantee at least the majority of the NBA GMs would not take those guys over DeAndre Hunter if they had one choice right now. So I'm definitely not doing that either. So Reddit rankings, I'm disappointed. I actually do like to tune into Reddit sometimes, read some threads, see where some other fans' heads are at. But no, we're not riding with you on this ranking. I hope we can get a new one up soon that kind of does justice for where players are at currently, because this list is just not it. Let's get off of that for a minute before I get too upset, and let's talk about something a little more exciting, and that's the two guys the Cavs have going into the 25-26 season that I do think could make a real run for MVP. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell. He's finished top 10 a couple years now, and I really think he's closer than most people realize. After he took a little bit of a step back scoring-wise last year, he rounded out his game so much and became such a better facilitator. I just feel like if he could take one more step, maybe average 26 and 6 and 5 next year, 26, 6 and 6, he could realistically finish top 5 in MVP voting. I mean, he wasn't far off these last 3 years. So Evan Mobley as well, I do see being at least an MVP candidate. I'm not saying one of these guys will win it, but I am saying both have a very good shot to finish in the top 10. Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, All NBA second team. Again, that's not far off from an MVP if you're coming off a season with those accolades. So I do think that both Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley could easily finish in the top 10 for MVP voting this season. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them really took a leap into those into the MVP standings and finished maybe second or third. Or who knows, if the Cavs have another 60-win season and Donovan Mitchell really goes off for a career year, he could realistically win MVP. He's not as far off as it may seem. And with the potential Evan Mobley is still growing into, he's also not as far off as it may seem. So, yeah, Despite them being, I guess, the 14th and 28th best player according to Reddit, I have both those guys making a real run for MVP this season. Now to transition again a little bit to something outside of, I guess, accolades and what might be for some of these Cavs players. Let's talk about if the Cavs do end up needing to make a trade this season. Who do you think's most likely to go? That would depend on what's going on at the moment and why we're making the trade, what we might need. But overall, the easy answers are always, it seems, Darius Garland and Jared Allen. But I think the Cavs could get creative in other ways and still bring in a meaningful piece by using maybe guys like Dean Wade, DeAndre Hunter, Sam Merrill, Max Strus once he's healthy, even Tyrese Proctor or Craig Porter Jr. I could see a package built around either Proctor or Porter Jr., one of those two, and then either Hunter or Strus and Dean Wade. That could get you a very good rotational player, if not two. And it is something I could see happening if things aren't going how the Cavs hope early in the season. It might seem at the moment a trade isn't realistically possible with where we stand and given the salary cap, everything along those lines. But it happens in the NBA all the time. You can't predict when a trade is going to happen or why or how, but they go down all the time. And the Cavs are no different. We've made a lot of big moves in the past, and I could see us being a player again if it does seem to be necessary because our season isn't going maybe the way we hoped. And in that case, I could see that type of package that I just named. That way, they're not really touching the big four, but they're still giving up some players of value like a DeAndre Hunter or Craig Porter Jr. and Dean Wade if he could ever stay healthy. So I'm looking for those names to come up in trade talks if it does come down to that. Hopefully it won't. But yeah, those would be the names that I would think of outside of the obvious Jared Allen and Darius Garland. Now, if we were going to make a trade, who would you want to bring in? And this could, I guess, be anybody. It doesn't have to be someone that we could right now break down the exact trade that could get it done or the exact path that could get us to this player. But if you could bring in another guy just to kind of finish off what the Cavs have built so far and push us over the top, what are some names that you would want to see come on board with the Cleveland Cavaliers? I've been thinking about it, and outside of maybe the top five guys, like, of course, anyone would want a Giannis or a SGA, something like that. A bigger name that I would love to see, I just think he'd fit perfect with the team we have, the chemistry we have, the type of players we have. And I hate to say it because it's from one of our rivals, the Boston Celtics, but I do think Jaylen Brown would be the perfect fit on this Cavaliers team. It would take a lot to get him, so it wouldn't be this Cavaliers team. It would look a lot different, but we're dreaming right now. And if we are able to dream, man, I'd love to bring in Jaylen Brown. Could you imagine DG, Donovan, Jaylen Brown, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen? I don't even know if the bench would matter if we had guys that could just not give up a 20-point lead in 5 minutes. I think we'd be fine. I'd give up the entire bench and all of our future draft picks to make something like this happen. But yeah, again, it's not probably as realistic as I'd like it to be. But man, I think he would look great in a Cavs uniform with this team around him. And I also think a couple guys from the Atlanta Hawks, Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson, they're both young, small forwards that could play the shooting guard or the power forward in a pinch. Offensively, they're both still definitely progressing and not they're not going to be the offensive hub of a team, but that's not what we would need them for, and that's why I think they'd be great fits as well. Daniels, most improved player last season, he really took a big leap with the Hawks. And then Jalen Johnson was taking that same type of leap until he got injured. They're both long, can guard numerous positions, and they don't need the ball in their hands a ton to be effective. So I think they would also fit very well on this Cavs team. And if you pick up a theme from the guys I'm listing as dream acquisitions, they're shooting guard, small forward type guys that could maybe play power forward in a pinch, because I feel like that's our only weakness right now. And it's not even a weakness because we do have some of those guys like Strus and DeAndre Hunter, but I just think that the three I named would fit even better and really just put the Cavs over the top. I don't think we need them. I think we're fine where we're at. But yeah, if we're allowed to dream for a minute, those are some names that I would love to see in a Cavs uniform. Another thing I'd love to see is you guys subscribing and being here every day with me, as this is going to continue on through the rest of the offseason, into the season, and as we make our championship run in 2026. So I appreciate you guys tuning in once again. I hope to see you back tomorrow. And until then, have a great day. Thanks, guys.